I am an introvert, and the chances are, if you're watching this video, you're either an introvert as well and you're looking to find your tribe, or you're an extrovert who's hoping to learn more about introverts and how to communicate with us effectively. Because, from the outside looking in, it can be very easy to take some of the things that we do out of context. If you don't understand why introverts do the things that they do and think the way that they think, it's very easy to draw conclusions about them that maybe they don't like you or things like that, which I'm not saying that's not true, but a lot of times, we just have our own way of communicating. Now, the first thing I need you guys to understand about introverts is that introversion and social anxiety are not the same thing. They're not mutually exclusive, but they are not the same thing. That is a very common misconception. Just because somebody is introverted does not mean that they have social anxiety. It often does coincide with social anxiety because as an introvert, the chances are you are less socialized than somebody who's more extroverted. And with less practice, of course, you're not going to feel as prepared. You're not going to know what to say. You're going to stumble on your words more often. But it is perfectly possible to be an introvert and be a very socially astute person, especially because as introverts, we tend to be very good at picking up on patterns and picking up on tendencies in people. We're good at reading people because we have a greater sense of ourselves. Now, another misconception that I want to clear up is that there is no such thing as a true introvert or extrovert. Everyone has a little bit of both in them. It's just that everyone has a different balance. Okay, so for me, for example, I would say I'm about 80% introvert, 20% extrovert. It may not seem that way on camera, but that's because on camera, I'm always talking. If you see me in real life, you will find out very quickly that I am actually a very reserved person. Okay, I do not talk to people. I don't like big crowds. I just keep to myself. And I spend a lot of time in my head. And, I'm sure a lot of introverts can relate, especially in Western society, when I say that, we've been conditioned to believe that being an introvert is not necessarily a good thing. It's not conducive to success. But that's why I want to make this video. I want to help you guys understand that being an introvert can be a very powerful tool and that you should embrace who you are and be the best version of yourself that you can be. Now, what is an introvert? An introvert is somebody who recharges their social battery by being alone. Now, this is the exact opposite of an extrovert. An extrovert recharges their social battery by being around other people. A great way to tell if you're an introvert or an extrovert is, at the end of the day, what do you do to recharge your social battery? Do you find more pleasure in sitting there and watching Netflix by yourself, or maybe with, close friends or family? Or do you like going to parties or clubs or things like that to wind down? Okay, to an introvert, the idea of going to a party or a club with the intention of, recharging yourself is an oxymoron. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute in our heads. But to an extrovert, it makes perfect sense because when they're alone, that's when they're at their lowest. Now, I do advocate for, learning to be comfortable in all situations. If you're an introvert, you should learn to be comfortable around other people. If you're an extrovert, you should learn to be comfortable by yourself. You should always strive to be as balanced as you can and be as versatile as you can. But at the same time, you need to honor and respect who you are because you are the way that you are for a reason. Now, as I said earlier, the main distinction between introverts and extroverts is the social battery. Now, unfortunately, the only way for an introvert to recharge their social battery is to be by themselves. There's no way around that. There's no way to speed up the process. They just have to wait it out. But just because your social battery takes a long time to recharge doesn't mean that your phone battery should take a long time to recharge. And that brings me to today's sponsor, Anchor Nano. Now, if you don't know what Anchor Nano is, you're going to learn today. The Anchor Nano is the best charger on the market, plain and simple. From afar, this looks like any old charger. But this charger right here is built different. The charger is primarily designed for iPhones and Apple products in general. So compared to the original 5-watt charger that the iPhone comes with, this charges your iPhone 3 times quicker. Imagine having a tool like this to charge your social battery. I can't either. But we have it for our phone battery, and that's good enough for me. Now, in addition to your phone battery, this can charge any electronic device that uses a USB-C port. So basically any modern Apple product, this can charge. A 15-minute charge with the Anchor Nano, just 15 minutes, will allow you to play music on your phone for 8 hours. Or play a game on your phone for 1.5 hours. You guys have to understand that time is your greatest asset. So any product that gives you the opportunity to save time is a product worth purchasing. Especially if you're somebody who uses your electronics a lot, which is probably everybody watching this. Okay, one of you out there watching this, probably a few of you, have 5% left on your phone. You need to use that last 5% to click the link in the description and buy this charger so that that doesn't happen to you again. Okay, because I want you guys to be able to enjoy my videos without having to worry about if your phone is going to die or not. And this product is especially useful if you're a YouTuber, a content creator, if you're somebody who uses technology to build a following, to build your brand, and to make money. Okay, you need to have the best tools available. So invest in this charger right here, that's Anchor Nano, link in the description and the pinned comment. Now, speaking of being a content creator, I think that a big misconception about introverts is that you can't be a good content creator as an introvert. And that's simply not true, and I'm living proof of that. As a matter of fact, I would go as far as to say that a lot of the top content creators are probably introverts. They seem like extroverts when they turn the camera on, but you guys have to understand that we can present any image that we want when we turn the camera on. Unless you know us in real life, you don't know how we actually act. And I think that that's what makes introverts such great content creators, is that because we keep to ourselves a lot more, we tend to be very introspective people. One thing that I was always told growing up is that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Okay, and as an introvert, that really resonates with me, because what I've learned is that the best way to learn things is to listen. It's hard to learn new things when you're always the one talking. Okay, and that applies to anybody watching this. Even if you're an extrovert, it would serve you well to just listen to people. Learn to listen more than you talk, and watch how your life begins to change. Watch how your mindset begins to change. Now, another misconception that I want to clear up. Much like introversion, extroversion and social anxiety are not necessarily related. You can be an extrovert, you can crave the presence of other people around you, but still have that internal barrier as far as, talking to them and interacting with them in any given way. Okay, and that's a very scary place to be. It's a very difficult place to be, and I'm sure that a lot of people watching this, especially now that we're done with quarantine and things like that, if you're an extrovert and you haven't been practicing your social skills, you might find yourself in that gray area. If you're in that gray area, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to just think. Okay, learn to be present with your own thoughts. Like I said earlier, everyone should learn to find that balance from within. We're all ambiverts. We all have a little bit of the other side in us. Okay, so it would greatly benefit you to learn how to, think. Just think more than you speak. And get in tune with your thoughts and stop seeking distractions. Stop hiding from your own mind. And watch how much you learn about yourself. And on the flip side of that, if you're an introvert, this would be a great time to learn how to make small talk. And I know, okay, as an introvert, I hate small talk. I don't want to know how your weekend went. I don't care. Okay, I want to know what you think about life. I want to know what you think about the afterlife. These are the things that I think about. Okay, so your small talk doesn't really mean anything to me, but at the same time, it is a useful skill that anybody can develop. But you should also honor your desire for meaningful dialogue. And that's a big part of the reason why I create content. It's because I want to create a community of people that can have that meaningful dialogue. I want us all to be able to talk about deep topics and feel at home and feel safe talking about them. One thing that I've definitely noticed as an introvert is that introverts don't drain my social battery in the same way that extroverts do. And I always wondered why that is. Why is it that I can have a 5-hour-long conversation with another introvert, but after 30 minutes of being around an extrovert, I feel tired. I feel mentally fatigued. It's because when I interact with other introverts, there is a general understanding that small talk is not necessary for us to communicate. We skip the small talk and go straight to the meaningful dialogue. And that's the way that I like it. But at the same time, I have to be respectful of other people. because not everyone is like me. Okay, it's kind of like having a language barrier. If you're speaking to somebody who speaks Spanish and you speak English, you have to be respectful and mindful of the language barrier in place. In conclusion, balance is key, and buy Anchor Nano.